being in a Mexican and Latino gang, I never had to prove myself. I never, because I grew up with these kids, so they knew my heart already. You know, I never had to go out of the way to show that I, had to fit in or I had to do certain things. I didn't have to do that.
Listen as this Black Primera Flats member talks about joining a Mexican hood in East Los Angeles.
That's where it all started in the 6th grade. And I was 10 years old, 1969. There was older kids that were in the gang that were living in that section that in which we lived in, that we used to always see them sniffing, huffing on paint, sniffing paint and glue and stuff. And they started to recruit us. Actually, it was a girl that actually got a hold of a few of the friends of my friends and actually influenced them into starting or running with them. And they started what was at that time the Pee Wee Locos. It was a new clique that they started. And then everybody must have been about 10 years old, 10, 11 years old.
Here he says how he wasn't the only black member from his neighborhood.
And you weren't the only black from Primera Flats.
No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Actually, the girl that initiated us to start the clique, the Pee Wee Locos, is actually a African-American black female. And I don't think that there was as much racial tension between the two races as there is today, even though there were signs of it, because I do remember that around 12 years old, we were in the park and some brothers came in, some black brothers came in to the park at broad daylight. Me and some of the little homies were playing handball, and one of the guys pulled out a shotgun and just blew one of our older homeboys' heads off right there in broad daylight, which caused a chain reaction of retaliation between the blacks and the Mexicans. But after that, it was squashed. After, I guess they felt that the price was paid for the initial killing.
Every so often you'll see blacks in Mexican gangs and Mexicans in black gangs. At the end of the day, it's where you grew up and the area you represent. Comment down below your thoughts. How do you feel about black and brown unity?